This was one of the most undemocratic selection of presidential candidates thus far. A Republican said that when no Democrats stepped forward or were discouraged from challenging Biden. I thought it was a bit of an exaggeration since I recognized it as a strategic move to prevent an internal attack on a frontrunner that at the time was a sure win to the White House. However, after that first debate changed things, I expected there to be a short but friendly competition between new Democratic candidates as someone was chosen to replace Biden. When Harris was chosen for us, I had to agree with the Republican who made that comment. Granted that the Republicans weren't innocent either. Although Trump was challenged, near the end, some Republican candidates were pressured to drop out for someone they thought would be a sure win to beat Trump and win the White House. So Republicans played that game too. However, the Democrats' moves were more undemocratic than the Republicans. This left the country with two candidates that a lot of people aren't satisfied with. It's so bad that some are considering not to vote. I can definitely understand that, but the problem is that one side has a lot of loyal voters who will show up at the polls, and unless you really don't care or wouldn't mind that candidate winning, then not voting will work for you. However, if you have reservations about that, then you have to think about this election differently. So, you don't like either and don't really want to vote for either. You still have to vote for someone, or else that decision will be made without your input. What does your one vote mean? It's only one vote. If it were previous years, it wouldn't matter much, but with all that is going on, the race is so close, and all that could happen, it is important to remember that your vote is one of many votes that could decide the future of the country, no matter what side you're on. I suggest that you don't think about it as picking a candidate because you don't like either. Think of it as picking your battle. Why? Because no matter who wins, there are going to be things that you don't like, and both have the potential to bring in changes that can have a big impact on the country. Both candidates' policies will have a strong effect on the country. One will have a strong social effect, while the other may have a strong democratic effect. Democratic effect meaning that the current rules for democracy may be changed a lot and overstep the boundaries of the current view of democracy. So, if you don't like either but have to choose, here are some things to think about because you will likely oppose some of either one's policies once they get into office. Both candidates' policies will lead to protest and opposition, but who would you rather go against? Let me explain. Trump may be top choice if it is about getting things done and getting a deal that is most favorable to your side. He seems like the best pick for a team because he is in it to win it no matter what. However, from what happened during the last election, Trump's methods of winning could get his supporters in trouble. Harris doesn't seem like she'll win at all costs. She will probably win some and lose some. However, she seems more likely to play by the book, and you are less likely to end up in a lot of trouble with her on your side. What happens if there is a falling out within the team? When you have one thing in mind and the candidate has another thing. What if you don't agree or can't go along with that candidate's position? Who do you have a better chance of asserting your position or negotiating a compromise? Who will play father knows best and assert only his or her position? Who will listen and negotiate? Who will listen but do whatever she or he wants? When I say who would you rather go against, I don't mean for competition or rivalry. I mean who you think will listen and respond, not listen only to say they listened. I say rather go against, meaning you are on opposite sides of a policy and need to decide how to move forward. Another thing to think about is how each candidate will handle international issues. A hot headed president could lead us into a war while the country will probably be weakened by difficult internal divisions and opposition to his or her policies. America is not perfect. There are many things that need to be fixed. I would like to fix those things with open discussions, respectful disagreements, and peaceful protests. Peaceful protests where you get to yell and get angry, but no violence. We don't need to tear the country apart to fix it. We don't need to go to war with each other over any of the current issues. I don't think either candidate is worth destroying the country for. This is our home. America is our home. If we implode, where else can we go? What other country is like the US? Those who intend to get violent over this election should realize that America has many enemies who are just waiting for us to implode. Once we are unstable and vulnerable from an implosion, they may not hesitate to attack. Do you really want that? Do we really want that? Are either of these candidates really worth that? It could take years to rebuild this country if we have a civil war. If we even get to rebuild if our external enemies don't move in on us. We have a better chance of fixing things with this country intact than with us at war with each other. Neither one of these candidates are being persecuted or treated unfairly. You have to admit that Trump contributed a lot to his problems, whether or not you support him. Trump is also not the Messiah. As someone with many Christian beliefs, I feel it is my duty to point that out. If a holy messenger was sent, I think God would pick someone less tainted than Trump. You can vote for him if you want. However, please stop referring to him as the Messiah or some holy person. A lot of people who want to get violent during this election need to understand that things are going to be different than the Jan 6 response. The other side is not going to sit back and watch you destroy the White House or the country. They too will probably be at arms. It's not going to be so easy this time, and you have to decide if you or a loved one's life is worth losing over an election. If it is about more than the election, I think there are bloodless ways to express your grievances. No issues at this time is worth any bloodshed. Some issues are, but there are none at this time, and even the current issues haven't reached a level where violence is necessary. We can still talk about it and try to work things out. I don't think we got a fair deal with Harris possibly becoming the first female president without being challenged. The Democrats should have gone through the routine process to choose a candidate. I have issues with both sides on how the candidate selection was done. This is what we have to deal with and have to choose the one that will do the less harm to the country. So remember, don't pick a candidate if you don't like either, but pick your battle.